No sirve para nada.
This is the Dos Cero podcast, a weekly show devoted to football in Mexico, the U.S., and beyond. If you are a Pocho, Puma, Regio, Chiva, Cholo, Fresa, Tigre, Tapatío, Chilango, or even a Methodist, pull up a chair, crack open a cold one, and enjoy the next 90 minutes of heated football debate. Thus begins the Dos Cero podcast. Thank you for joining us. This is the Dos Cero football podcast. Yamadito production brought to you by SoccerChronicle.com. My name is John Jagu. Very glad that you're joining us live tonight on the YouTube. And of course, you can listen to this podcast and our previous editions. You can download on iTunes at your leisure. This is a Dos Cero football podcast. We do have a panel tonight, as we always do, and we'll be adding more panelists as they stumble on. But with us tonight, we have two gentlemen, one in California, one in Texas. So this time it's the Texans that are outnumbering the Californians. Not like last week. We were outnumbered, but not outclassed. But out in Escondido, we have with us Daniel Preciado. Daniel, how are you, sir?
Doing well, John. Good evening to you, to Beto, everybody, all two people listening. Hopefully we get some callers. You should probably announce that first, in case people tuning in aren't aware.
That is true. We have, for the first time ever on the Dos Cero Football Podcast, technology has made it now possible for our listeners to interact with us. They can actually call a dial-in number to chat with us on the show. That number is 724. Write this number down, 724-707-3826. That number again, 724-707-3826. And then the PIN to join us is 13118. And that will, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Alberto El Chiquiscampa has set this up, and they'll just jump right into the show. Is that correct? They're not screened; it just happens.
Yeah,
Albert, how are you this evening?
Show up. I see their location, and I can mute them. I can talk to them if I mute myself from the podcast. So I can if we need to, but.
Okay, so y'all be on your best behavior. You don't want to. Not only do you not want to get muted, but we don't want to have to bring out our bad cop either.
Now,
so
I think worse than I'm not
that.
sure if you've heard this, but maybe we could eventually, if this pans out, we could come out with a fade instead of a mute, because I think a fade is much more mean,
much more effective.
Yeah,
much meaner. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. In case
you don't think we need to bring it?
Go ahead.
So you don't think we need to break out Tuca?
¡Cállese, carajo!
That's good too. That'll work.
Yeah, Tuca put order in place.
Yeah, man.
That's
Tuca by the end of the year will be coaching Mexico.
Now, are we going to be welcoming just any kind of callers, or are we opening it up to all types of topics and commentary?
Well, I think that as we delve into the topics, I'm sure that our callers will want to voice in instead of of course they could chat with us on YouTube live, because we are live on YouTube. But now they have another way.
I for one am kind of excited about the whole thing, just because I know that some of us may be a little bit apprehensive about having people contribute, but I'm excited about it. Anything to be a little more inclusive and to contribute to the conversation, I welcome it. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully,
well, thank you, Dan. That is a very positive and optimistic outlook on the quality of, not only the quality of callers we're going to have, but the quality of discourse that the callers will bring. Maybe, I think that, for the first, let's say 5 callers, if we can avoid, keep the dick jokes down to like less than 3, then I think that we would have a quality discussion with them. I think that is a good over and under. I think I'm going to go with the. You're saying we should go with the under on that, I believe, is what you're trying to say.
I think you're being a little bit kind there. I'm thinking the actual commentary would be good, but
Okay.
it's kind of hard to deny a dick joke, though. I'd rather not put a limit on it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, as
I think we can have both. It's kind of like that
oh, I
meme.
see. So good discourse and dick jokes. You're saying there's no reason they can't be. It should be mutually exclusive.
Exactly.
I understand. Well, we do have a variety of topics to discuss tonight. So obviously, we'll be talking about LigaMX, and it's too bad that we don't have our Chiva party, because that way we wouldn't be able to have Chiva contra Chiva, which is one of my favorite segments. Hopefully, Juan Uribe and Joel will join us so that we can let them duke it out. But both of them have got to be very sore after what happened with Chivas over the weekend in Tijuana. And I have to say, and this is, I mentioned this to Joel in passing, is that Tijuana is just not the town. If you're a goat, Tijuana is not the place you want to be, because bad things happen to goats in Tijuana. The least of which, of course, is being cooked and fed as cabrito. So we will be discussing that. We will also be talking about the Conca Champions. Soccer Chronicle is efforting our ability to give you live reporting from on-site at some of the Conca Champions venues. Albert, I know that you're going through a process of getting your accreditation for that. How's it going?
Yeah, I got it set up. It's they give you a portal to log into, and then you can see all these initial games, like the ones today, and you just apply to go up as press for one of those games. But yeah, I mean, the possibility there is for some Dallas games. If I wanted to, I could probably drive down to Monterrey for some games down there.
Yeah. Monterrey has.
How long is the drive for you to Monterrey?
It's like 5.
Yeah, 5.
It takes 3 to get to Laredo, and then another like 2.5. So yeah, and then that's not including any kind of border.
Yeah,
going through the border. So
if you want to get your car, that's going to take a whole ton. But yeah, I would take the bus or something, or fly.
Right. Yeah, flying. I don't think we actually have directs, but I know San Antonio does, and that's like maybe an hour flight. So that would be a very easy way to go down. Well, best of luck to you. Hopefully, you'll be able to get some of the games, and you can tell us about the new stadium there in Monterrey, and then see how it is. Because
yeah, I think
knowing how hot Monterrey gets, it's like Laredo. They get the same climate, and Laredo is just awful in the summer. So I can't imagine Monterrey being that much better, and for that place to just basically be a convection of it. It can't be very pleasant to watch games there in the summer, but I'm sure as it cools off, it's probably just a really, really, really terrific stadium. So hopefully you'll get.
I've never been to Monterrey. Is it? It's probably not Torreon kind of hot, right?
It's a little more humid, but I mean it's just Torreon is a desert, so it's a little drier. But Monterrey is, I mean it's just like 30-40% humidity and just blazing hot. It's awful. And yeah, it's not pleasant, but
we'll have fun, Beto.
That's going to change. Yeah, sounds great, doesn't it? Great postcard from Monterrey.
And that stadium already has the moniker of Tamalera, so
yeah. So like Monterrey, it's just nicer than Laredo, but still awfully equally as awfully hot.
The body must will be strong.
I went to
the topics
game and
go ahead.
I went to a Santos game in El Volcan once, and it wasn't too bad. We were in the first half. I'm trying to remember. It might have been towards like September, November, maybe, or maybe earlier in the year. I forget even what it was. Clausura or Apertura. But it was sort of hot when the sun was on our side, and then it went down, and we're okay.
Another topic we're discussing tonight, of course, is the Olympics. Mexico starts the defense of their gold medal that they won in London in 2012 against the Germans. They will be doing that tomorrow. I believe the game is at 3 Central, which would make it 4 Eastern and 1 Pacific. I know it's Germany. I know it could certainly beat Germany, but I think you think a draw would be a good result for Mexico in this game. If they lose, let's hope it's by a minimum of one goal. And of course, they would be great. I'm not saying that that's not going to happen, but then let's just not let's not take another spin like they did against Chile. Let's hope that that doesn't happen, because this will be the first Mexico's first appearance since that game. I know it's just the Olympic team, but it's still Mexico. So hopefully that 7-0 won't be burned on their foreheads too.
Well, I know that you guys were. Well, I'm not sure if you were painting so much of a grim picture, but it kind of sounded like somewhat grim. I think they're going to do all right. I'm hearing that some of the other international press have them penned as favorites. So it seems as only that the Mexican press is devaluing their chances, or devaluing the actual quality of the team. I'm hopeful. It
I'm
seems
not
like
going to lie.
they got a Pachuca base, which is I know sometimes on the show it's been a topic where we think that in order to have a strong national team or a national team, you want its core to be from the same team. They kind of have that, and I think Oribe on some level still kind of playing for a spot on the senior team to stay on it. I think he's got probably lots of reasons to do well.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I'm not as bearish on this team as I was, say, a month ago, because I think that the coach finally. I'm not going to say he. Well, I think he saw the reality of what he had, and he made he made the appropriate decisions as far as personnel, not necessarily the overage players, but he brought in Cesar Montes, which I think is going to make a huge difference.
That's a huge one, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and with him paired with Salcedo, ooh, good lord! I think that that's going to make at least the coach is going to see, and then of course he has Talavera as the goalies. So those three guys right there are going to make a much bigger difference than what they had before, and if those guys can dispossess and get it to midfield, I think the midfield is very talented. Like you said, it's a Pachuca base with frankly a lot of Chivas sprinkled in. So I think that we were seeing kind of a base of two teams. Guys that have been playing together at least on the national team for the past really since they were 17. Some of them. So we'll see. I think a guy that could really do well for himself in a tournament like this is Marco Bueno. I think that this is a place for him. Oribe, like you mentioned, is really it's his swan song. I mean, I would hope that at 35, Oribe would be, I guess he'd be bench material for if Mexico goes to the World Cup in 2018. But certainly not the starter. But so this is the last chance for him to really make a huge contribution. And he's on. And he has been clutch. He's been clutch, at least on the national team, pretty much his entire career. So there's no reason to think that he's going to play otherwise. Chiquis, how do you feel?
I have my doubts. I mean, I'm hopeful. The fan of me is hopeful, but I have my doubts with Oribe. Sort of what we talked about last time. Oribe being sure he scored the hat trick, but some of the goals weren't really legit. Or real goals, if you want to call them that.
Apparently, no one else likes Oribe there in the Chiquis household either.
Would you guys say that he's going to be going up against defenses that are tougher than what he sees in LigaMX week in and week out? I would say no.
I think maybe in the Germany game, probably, but in the other two games, absolutely not. I don't think he'll have any problem.
And I just think that he's he's a clever player. Because, I mean, you look at him, that's why I think everybody was reluctant to even getting him on the national team to begin with. I mean, I think he had to prove himself probably more so than anybody else, just because he's ugly on the ball. He looks awkward. He's not fast. He's not big. He's not muscular. He's not athletic. But his passing's incredible. He's an underrated passer. The guy racks up assists. I think he's exactly. I'm one of the few who thinks it's exactly what the team needs. Now, yes, it is somewhat sad that there aren't younger strikers to fill that role. That aside, I still think he's got plenty in the tank to make a big difference on this team.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that he, certainly has the drive. He's going to be the captain, which, frankly, he deserves it. I mean, like I said, I mean, for all he's done for Mexico, really since the summer, since the tournament before he went to the Olympics in 2012. Actually, that whole season, he ended up scoring from, I think, the friendly he had against the States in August in 2011. Through that season, he played the Pan American Games, and he had some qualifiers and friendlies, and then of course played in the Olympics and the Conca Champions on top of that. So he played a lot of soccer. He did, but he scored 40 goals. I mean, that is impressive as hell. I don't care. They always talk about how many goals that Messi and Ronaldo. I'm not comparing Oribe to these guys, but I know that they score upwards of 40, 50 goals in a season too, and for a Mexican player of in any league to do that, I think is just incredibly impressive. And I think, speaking of hat tricks, I think Aldo de Nigris has a first half hat trick in their Conca Champions game. I think they're in Port-au-Prince in Haiti playing a team. I couldn't remember what the team's name was, but it was pretty interesting. So
now,
they're 3-0.
Is the format the same as last time? The groups of 3?
Yeah, it's groups of 3, and there's 8 groups. Basically, they're just desperate to try and ensure the Mexico knockouts is what they want. And of course, when it comes time again, the MLS is going to complain bitterly that, we're just starting our season, blah blah blah. So, yeah, but the format is exactly the same. But back to Oribe, so you see, ever since that time, I mean, he's propelled. He scored some just massively huge goals for Mexico with the Olympic team. He got the he cracked the goal at the first goal at the World Cup. He scored the massive, the goal and the assist against the U.S. in the Blazer Bowl. He was the only one that scored that scored more than one goal in the Hex for Chepo. He was the only one that played well for Chepo. And that was the one unfortunate, not want to call it a blemish, but the unfortunate thing about Oribe is that he was hurt. Right before the Confederations Cup in 2013, he kind of twisted his knee and he wasn't able to play. I'm curious if y'all think that if that would have had any kind of impact on how Mexico would have ended up in the Confed Cup, or even, would Chepo have kept his job if he would have had a healthy Oribe at that?
It certainly would have helped. Hard to say whether it would have made a difference, but I don't know. I guess what I always liked about him is that unlike Chicharito, he's able to combine more so with his players, and I know Chicharito's improved on that as well. But that's why I like Oribe. Even though he's not a sexy player, he's not selfish in the sense where he just wants the goal more so than anything. And I love how he combines with the other forwards. I personally think he probably would. I mean, either with Chicharito or Raul on the senior team, you still make a good pairing with them. But one thing I heard you guys talking about last week, I wasn't able to chime in at the time, where you guys were saying that do you guys really consider him legendary? I don't know if by and large everybody would agree with that. If they would put him, I know you mentioned top 5. I don't know if they placed the Olympics that far up, and I'm not sure if they're keeping track of everything else he's done.
Well, I'm not sure people need to devalue the. I mean, yes, it's a U tournament, but I mean, the Olympics is pretty. I mean, that is. That is easily the closest thing Mexico. I mean, think of. I mean, that's a world tournament. So there's you have to qualify for it. There's 16 teams. 16 teams is you have no room for error in a tournament like that. You have to get through, and then you have one game to get to the medal round. I mean, it is a serious amount of pressure. So. Yeah, I mean, they got to the wonderful 5th game in that tournament. It's the only one that they do out of the U. It's just, yeah, I think that for Oribe to be considered, as a top 5 in the national team, absolutely. I mean, he's, like I said, he scored some huge goals, whether the Olympics or in the World Cup, and he's just been a consistently good player. When I think of players that have been the best of the national team, I think of players that were like I don't think Hugo Sanchez was good for the national team. I think that he was very inconsistent. Consider him as one of the best. But a player like Cuauhtemoc Blanco, on the other hand, has is easily probably the best national team player we've ever had, and I don't think that it's even close when you compare what he was able to achieve at the national team level, and the times when they needed him. It was when he came. That was when he really came through, and you really just. I don't think there's any doubt that he would be considered the best one.
I would agree with Demo, for sure.
So, and that's how I judge it. Like how did they play on the teams? What were they able to help the team achieve? Not necessarily, So I think Giovanni is could certainly get to that, just because again he's made some massive contribution that they had to have him. So I think that he's definitely when it's all said and done, he could certainly be there. Maybe you could say the same for Chicharito, if he but Chicharito really hasn't gotten that that huge goal that we just have to have in a game. He's gotten goals, don't get me wrong, but that massive we had to have it. He came close in Honduras, and he did get those goals, and there's no denying that. But then they frittered away, so it really diminished what he was able to accomplish down in Honduras, which is unfortunate for him. So, well, you guys have been watching a long time. Who outside of Cuauhtemoc, who would you consider, at least in the past? I guess since the turn of the century, who would you consider as a national team player that has really distinguished themselves to the point where they could be considered an all-time great? National team player, not just overall, but I'm specifically national team.
Well, Rafa, obviously, except I mean, unfortunately, he's my favorite player. Obviously, he was in his prime when I really started watching. I obviously he's legendary, considering the fact that he captained the national team at a really young age and has been to countless and scored in a lot of World Cups too.
Yeah, he scored in 3 straight.
So that speaks for itself.
Now,
his is tarnished,
do you think
because
the Rafa goals? Now, do you think that Rafa's? I mean, I think that his 2010 performance in South Africa was probably the best tournament he ever played for Mexico. He was absolutely superb in that tournament. But my question is, do you think that his level of excellence that he showed outweighs the just bonehead mistakes that he made?
That's what I was gonna say. It puts an asterisk on his name, because I mean he's screwed up in critical moments lots of times. Like he's always had the issue of keeping calm and which is kind of odd. He seems like a quiet, soft-spoken kind of dude, but obviously when things don't go his way, he gets pretty bitter about it, and oftentimes it leads to a big-time mistake.
I don't think his mistakes have been too critical. Like the 2002 one was the biggest. I think that was going to happen anyway.
That's funny, because I don't even consider that one. I consider the handball against Portugal.
Portugal, that's the one that really
just baffling hand. I mean, it was almost
because
like,
who
dude,
knows what would have happened?
Do you have money on the game? Yeah, exactly.
You win that game, and you avoid Argentina.
Yeah, but then you would have played Holland, but so that was the rub. But either way, I mean, you never know what would have happened. That was always baffling. Yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
No. I was just gonna say, for some reason, it maybe it's a bit of a trauma talking, but I've always there's a part of me that I want to play Argentina, but there's not a team that I probably fear more so than Argentina, just because we seem to play them well most of the time, but they always find a way to.
No fear, man. No fear. You can't have that mentality.
Exactly. Argentina they're the big. I mean, think of how much influence Argentina has on the sport. I mean, in Mexico, out of the 18 coaches, there's 5 Mexicans. How many Argentines? 10, 11. There's so many coaches. There's so many Argentine players in the league, and it's been like that, for at least one generation, probably closer to two. And so yeah, I mean it's just it's tough, and as long as I've been watching, they've beaten Argentina twice. One was in that Copa America where Ramosito hit that 40-yard shot that went in. That was just like the only offense Mexico showed the entire game was that goal, and they hung on for dear life. And then year when I was a kid, they used to play this tournament in Mexico City. It was a youth tournament called the Copa Joao Avalanche, and Mexico beat Argentina then in a game that was like a typical summer in Mexico City, just gully washer, just pouring rain. And those are the only times I had seen them beat Argentina. That I can
it
remember.
just
So,
seems
yeah.
that it's bad enough. It's hard enough to play them like straight up because they're just they're just so talented. They're so good, but then when they start coming out, and it just seems like always against Mexico, they pull out once in a lifetime goals like Maxi's goal is just it's like what the F, man. Agüero, I remember he hurt us in the U20s. It seems like every single time, and then when that doesn't, it just always something. Osorio making that blunder.
Yeah, I mean they are certainly the Coco. There's no question. There's no question about it.
The offsides that wasn't called. I mean, it's one thing after another against that team that you're just like even when they're playing well, it just seems like the gods are just have it against.
You make
Mexico.
it the penalties, and Osorio misses the penalty.
It's a mentality thing with these guys, and then the Argentinians have the opposite of their mentality. They expect to win. They know that they're going to win some way or the other, and then Mexico knows they're going to lose some way or the other. But yeah, I'd rather go against Argentina. It'd be nice to get to a fifth game and skip Argentina and get an easy matchup or something. But we got to face those demons and not be scared.
Well, it was pretty obvious last week when they had that friendly that that's exactly what Argentina did. Like, hey man, we might play each other in the knockouts, to get a chance for the medal round. So we're going to go ahead and intimidate you now, so that when you play us, you're gonna play a little more hesitant than you normally would. I mean, there's no question that was just a gigantic, move of the pieces on the chessboard in that friendly. They had no intention of doing anything other than just intimidating Mexico.
It pissed off Hugo Sanchez. Did you hear any of that?
I did not. Was he? So he was upset about it.
Me estoy avergonzado.
Yeah, no, he was kind of calling BS on the whole thing. He's like, these guys just came out to do one thing, and he's like, and it's not right. That they kind of just went out to just kick and
would have worked on Hugo's team then.
probably, but
yeah, I mean, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, it was so obvious that was what they wanted to do, and we'll see if it. We're not going to see if it works or not unless they play each other and Argentina wins. If they don't win, then Mexico didn't fall into the trap, and if that's the case,
well, I think it depends on how you treat the. If anything, it should be a confidence booster because it tells it sends a very direct message that
but we know we can't beat you when we play a game, but we're going to try and
well, just for all the talk of this
squeeze
team,
one out.
For all the talk of this team not being that good and not being as shiny and pretty as the last edition, Argentina, who's always Argentina, always going to be considered favorites no matter what tournament they're in, clearly see Mexico as a difficult challenge. That the fact that they even have to send a message, they wouldn't do that with just anybody. So I think that's the ultimate sign of respect.
No,
the
they
fact
wouldn't.
That they're already
However,
playing mind games.
I agree, but I do think that they know that kind of stuff works on Mexico more often than not. I believe is the.
Yeah, and all you have to do is look at the
why we
last
did it.
Libertadores final to see that the way
Right.
River played.
They did the same thing.
Yeah. Muddy up the game, kick. It works. It's a huge.
They are master of the dark arts, no question. They are probably I think that they probably use more gamesmanship than any other country, than any other national team on the planet. Maybe Uruguay's a little more violent, but I think that
I was gonna
Argentina
say
uses
Uruguay
every
is gonna
trick in
be
the book.
the yeah, Uruguay was gonna be my other my B,
They're
my second
Maybe
choice.
the Italians.
they're scumbags, in other words.
I'm
No,
not
I
saying that. I just think
disagree.
that they,
No,
yeah, I think
this
that they
isn't
just
part of
they
your
do whatever it
morality
takes.
uh,
Yeah,
discussion, Beto. I'm a fan of the dark arts. I think it's part of the game. Um,
they play no blood, no foul, and I'm not saying that. I'm saying just not just in the violent part of it, but just overall, they they push the limits of the refereeing and the rules.
Well, part of the
And
dark
in their
arts.
mind, if the ref didn't see it, then it didn't happen. You know what I mean? That's just how that's.
yeah, exactly. They're
And,
gonna
and
try
on
to get
top
away
of it,
with
they're
as much as
incredibly
possible.
talented, which makes it so frustrating. It's like, you don't have to do that, but I understand. They just, yeah.
I don't
It's
agree. Like the dark arts, some of it is okay, like what you're talking about. But when you talk dark arts, you got to include diving, crying, doing a Cristiano Ronaldo, even the hand of God Maradona. Like that's not legit, man. That's I mean he won and that's cool and it's like everyone talks about the hand of God and all this stuff. But
That's the Mexican
so
talking,
you're saying they
Beto.
have to.
That's the Mexican talking. I mean, if
Then,
you speak to any Argentinian, they are proud of the handball.
I know, but that's because everyone glorifies it. If I was any soccer player, I'd rather have headed that ball in and not be a midget Maradona than to uh, I think we.
I do think though that's a big difference in mentalities, and I do think it on some level reflects itself on the field where they're definitely win at all costs, and it doesn't seem that
Hello?
Mexico shares that.
oh my goodness, we have a caller. My goodness, please identify yourself, man on the telephone.
Hello?
Yes, please
Yes,
identify
can you
yourself.
hear us?
I can
Turn
certainly
your
hear
radio,
you.
turn your radio down.
That was me. I had him on, or had ourselves on mute. Go ahead.
Go ahead, caller.
This is this is uh this is the one and only Sanchito. How's everyone doing?
What's up, man? Doing good.
I have
Everybody is
no idea
doing
what you guys
great.
are talking about. I have no inclination or to know what you all are talking about. If it's because I know it's soccer or football or whatever you call it. And I haven't been following it at all because Chivas suck and Mexico sucks too. No matter what everyone in this podcast try to tell you, Mexico is never going to win the World Cup. We suck. We're mediocre. We're destined to be mediocre for a very long time, and that it is what it is.
Sanchito, you've clearly haven't been listening
That's-
to our show because this is the Dos a Cero podcast. This is a doom and gloom, if ever there was one, a podcast of doom and gloom.
Well,
There's no question that this is very realistic. This is like a weekly dose of reality juice for a lot of for our dozens and dozens of listeners that we have out
Remember
there.
there used to be a user on Big Soccer. His name was Mexico Will Be Champ or something like that. That wasn't
yeah, I
you.
remember that dude.
That
Was
wasn't
that
you. You didn't change
that
the name.
Fernando?
By the way,
I think that was
I have to
Fernando.
say one thing: is Pern on the line or not?
No, he's not. He hasn't joined yet.
That's
We can see if we can bring him in.
Irrespective of anything, is he's the type of football fan, Mexico football fan, that non-Mexico football fans and even Mexico football fans really tend to dislike. A little over the top, a little insecure in their standing as it pertains to being Mexicans, that they go over the top and they really turn everyone off. So I just wanted to give Pern Doc some shit. It's too bad that he's not on the call, but or on the podcast today. But yeah, that's about all I have for you guys.
Well, not in defense of Pern, but he does represent a demographic of Mexican supporters.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think Sanchito just described that demographic very clearly and succinctly.
Because they really contribute nothing to nothing positive, rather, to being a fan or the overall experience. They're like the American outlaws of Mexico fans, and there should be, people should put a stop to them, to people like that.
So you're saying, yeah, it's
That's rough,
I'm
man.
I'm I'm, I'm surprised the senator. I'm surprised the senator hasn't come on to defend himself. Well, the senator didn't come on
He's
last week
actually
either.
getting my
So.
haircut. I'm parked in front of my house now, and I just thought I'd join in and say hi to everybody. And even though I just like Fern on a very superficial level, I'm sure he's a nice guy, and I hope he takes it all in jest. It's all in good fun.
Well, I think it's
No, we
appreciated
appreciate
that you've
that. I'm
called
sure
in,
Fernando will be there.
Sanchis. Your criticisms are well taken. Feedback's, we're excited that we actually got a caller. So hopefully, since you're the guy who claims to make threads pop, hopefully you'll make the phones pop, and we'll get other people to call in.
So you're saying that we got a caller that had the best Q factor we could possibly get. That is impressive. That is good to know. So we need to. Did you get his caller ID there, Chiquis? That way we can call him whenever we have a lull. We'll just call Sanchito and I'm sure that will probably go viral within the next 5 minutes. So thank you, Sanchito, for calling in.
There's no guarantee that I will answer, but expect the podcast to pop now.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it.
No le voy a discutir con usted.
Wow, we had a caller that's fantastic. Sanchito called and did nothing but just trash Fernando, which.
And in fairness to him, he did ask to see if he was there first, so I think he would have said it to him had he been on.
He would have said it to him directly.
I think so.
It's very possible. I think that maybe what folks, maybe Fernando he's just playing a role of an eternally steadfast and optimistic fan. Maybe in reality he's just like a Smith's listening, just like constantly, walking with a dark head and
that would be me.
Just knows
that would be me, John. I'm the Smiths fan here. I'm definitely the guy who's teetering on.
You wear black on the outside because black
is how I feel on the inside. Yes, very much so.
And if you seem a little strange, is that because you are?
Is it really though? Is it really so strange? Anyways, maybe that'll create some new listeners. I know Smiths fans are pretty hardcore and loyal, so maybe if I could get some viewership that way. I tend to be on friends with Smiths fans. Go ahead, sorry.
Do you feel that what made them so good was the balance of the Brood with kind of like the peppy guitar play?
Yes, absolutely. It wasn't him alone.
And the upbeat.
Him being Morsi.
The upbeat melodies, kind of like Elvis Costello with his really poppy sound and incredibly depressing lyrics.
Yeah, that was the irony of it, and I know. Granted, there's some people that just listen to it just because of the uppity sound and the cheerful sounding music. But that's what made it so great, the irony of it, that
right.
the song sounds funny, but it's actually really just really, really sad and depressing. But for those of us who suffered through that teenage angst, he was like a nice warm blanket. His music, their music, I should say.
Indeed. Well, let's get back to.
I love this deviation, though. I loved it, by the way. Thank you for indulging me. This is like my.
No, you're welcome. I actually mentioned the Smiths in an article that Joel and I wrote today. I wish Joel would join us to talk about it, but we were talking about how to improve the actual culture in Mexican soccer, because it seems like that's really right now they're at a real crisis point. There's something has to change for Mexico. If Mexico wants to be where they think they belong, it can't just start by, having a good Olympic team, and there has to be more. There has to be a way to cultivate more players, and the way he was described was just killing me. I was like, I'm going to listen to the Smiths just to cheer up.
Well, I do think back to
you've got me so depressed.
Beto made the point earlier, and I do think that it is the mental issue. It's got to be, because how could the national teams have had so much success at the underage levels, and then somehow can't even get close to anything like that.
Well, yeah, but you have to understand though that the youth stuff. I mean, that is a recent trend. That is not something that has happened. That has happened historically. That's only been around for 10 years.
10 years though. 10
So
years is pretty good. You figured there's been 2 World Cups.
Well,
since.
let me put it to this way: the same youth group in a different country right now is now probably the best team in the world right now, and that's Chile. They had, it's the same core of players that played in the same World Cup in 2005, and then the same youth one in 2007. They also lost to Argentina in 2007, and would have been in the semifinal. Mexico would have played, and it's the same. So it's how players' careers turn out. I mean, those guys had 3 or 4 players that were just sensational, and they had 4 other ones that were not as good, but incredible nonetheless. I mean, they just have a really deep, talented team, and Mexico had the chance to develop that. But we saw Carlos Vela's career go. He finally plays well. He's in a snit with the national team. Giovanni, for whatever reason, unbeknownst to everybody, decided that he had to go to Tottenham for 2 years, and it killed the most formative part of his career. That's where he would have developed. Yeah or nay, and he went to a guy that just refused to play him. And I'm sure
well, that's not exactly true, though, isn't it? I mean, didn't he go under Ramos had recruited him, didn't he?
Oh, we have another caller. Please identify yourself, caller.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Tomas. I'm a new listener. I just wanted to quickly chime in and say, I find your podcast a lot better than the one with that Weasel guy and the other Tom Marshall guy. I think they're kind of full of shit on some of their answers, so I appreciate you guys keeping it real. I have a couple questions. I'm going to hang up because I got some things to do, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Of course, please. Fire away.
All right. So I want to hear your opinion on El Partido Molero against New Zealand. I'm starting to think that it's just a marketing ploy to make money. I don't see how it makes Mexico better. Also, what are your expectations for these Olympics, or do they even mean anything in the grand scheme of things? And yeah, that's it. I'm going to hang up and listen to you guys. And like I said, good thing that I found your show, and fuck that America guy that was on last week. I think you know what you're talking about. But,
Excuse
good
me.
show, and we keep on listening.
Before you go, I'm just curious. Are you did you hear about the show through Big Soccer or through other means?
I was listening to the what's the name of the show? The other one, I'm sorry, I forget. The one I just mentioned with the
Mexican Soccer Show.
Marshall.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
the
listening
Mexican
to,
Soccer Show.
I listened to one of the episodes they did with, I think John was a guest on, I think it was an episode about Canada, and he plugged his this podcast, and I didn't really start listening to it till this past week, but I needed my fix because I'm always on the go with work, and good thing, like I said, that I found your podcast because I think it's pretty informative. You guys are doing a good thing, and I find it entertaining. So
good to hear.
We really
that's what we
appreciate it.
try
Thank
to do
you.
here at the Setup Podcast. We try to inform and entertain. Tomas, thanks very much. Where are you calling from before you hang up?
calling from Chicago. Puro Chicago.
Orale.
All right, look at that, man.
All right, guys.
Yeah,
Have a good night.
Appreciate it.
Comments.
Good night.
So
Alright.
New Zealand, eh? Yeah, the Molero. I've heard to comment on that New Zealand thing. I'm hearing a lot of stuff on Twitter that there's no really other options than these New Zealands and these Partidos Moleros because everyone else is busy in their tournaments or they're qualifying. They don't have time to, like the big teams don't have time to come and to the States and play Mexico. So I don't know what your opinion on that is. It just might be that's the best we can get are these types of games.
Well, to answer his question, I don't think it's going to really serve the national team any real purpose. I think the one thing that you can try to hang on and try to look for positives that can be gotten that you can get from a game like this is the fact that hopefully try to wash away the taste, and if they your best case scenario is that they convincingly playing well to try to sort of kind of begin washing that taste out of our mouths from that 7-0. And maybe, well, actually, I don't know. The call-ups, I'm a little bit iffy on who should they be calling for these games, because two schools of thought on whether you want to try to go for more consistency and more get the same players out there, or experiment more, which is arguably one of the reasons he's gotten into trouble.
Yeah, that's we got a caller from Vegas. So, you got a question from Vegas?
Hey man, I'm originally from Vegas, but I actually live in Chicago now. How's it going, guys?
Oh, cool. Pretty good. How are you?
Another
Good.
person from Chicago. All right, welcome.
Hey, thanks, man. I normally don't get to catch the show live, and I was just on Twitter and saw you guys were taking questions. I usually just listen to the podcast, but I don't know how off topic I am. Well, the reason I called is here in Chicago, we've got an MLS team, and they just took like a really sort of very serious stance on the puto chant. You know, they basically at one of the games, they had the general manager come out and like address all the fans and basically say they were going to kick people out if they were seen doing it or were sort of reported as seen doing it. And I just kind of wanted to get your guys' feedback on how you think MLS is handling it versus like in the international game, and like how you guys kind of foresee that going.
Well, sorry about the technical difficulties, gentlemen, but I guess I forgot to plug in my computer and went to sleep and I lost connection. But sadly, I think that we're going to start seeing more and more of that. It's not my, it's just so ridiculous that that they even have to police. It's like, police yourself, for God's sake. I know John Enrico says that, that somebody's shown their right to be an asshole, but ultimately there's going to be a penalty involved, and if there's a penalty involved, then to me it's just whether you believe that the penalty is just or not, there's going to be one involved. So just don't do it.
I think it's a smart move by MLS, or if it's just the team doing it. I think it's a smart move just because I think we ourselves have posted articles regarding this whole thing and how hypocritical it is, or how unfair it is to just point the finger at Mexico when lots of teams, including in the U.S., are doing it. So I think it's a smart way to distance themselves from that argument, to say, no, actually, we're being proactive and we're immediately trying to put a stop to this by taking these measures. To them, it's not part of their culture. It's something that's been newly adopted. So I don't think I think it makes sense to try to get rid of it, because why piss people off?
We had actually in our previous podcast we had the chant in our open, which
we got kicked out of the stadium for having that, I believe.
We did?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, when did that happen?
Yeah, next time I go to the Dynamo game, I believe when I went, we did hear a little bit of it.
It happens at the FC Dallas games too.
Yeah, it's just patches of fans here and there that do it. But I mean, do in regular games or even like football games, John, that in your experience, if people start cussing and just really
well,
bad.
Let me put you this way: I go to the Texas OU game every year, or at least try to, and have for the past 20 years, and the band plays Texas Fight, and there's a part in the game where the fans yell, give them hell, go Horns, go. Well, at the Texas OU game, they go, give them hell, OU sucks, right? And people say, well, sucks is a word that's been kind of taken into the vernacular, and it's just it's just part of the everyday lexicon. So it's but the meaning and the history of what that it's what that word is, in my opinion, is almost the same thing. As far as saying the puto chant. So if you have a problem with them saying OU sucks, then you shouldn't have a problem with the puto chant, because and that's the other thing. Let's face it, in Mexico, the word puto, yes, it means homosexual prostitute. There's no denying that. But that's not how it's used in Mexico. At least not in the, and I'm not defending this at all, but it's a word that is more part of the everyday lexicon. Let's just say.
Well, so is sucks, and I think sucks is a little bit soft. I mean, I'll say sucks, and usually, and I try not to cuss.
Right,
But
but I
like,
mean, when I was a kid, if you said, if you said suck, then you might as well have said shit. Seriously.
Do you say no mames?
I don't.
I do. I say it all the time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I do too.
But like I've heard in MLS games, they'll be like, they'll say "f you a hole" and all that stuff.
Oh, there's two of me. There's two of me.
Now, I will say this to your point, John, because I know you asked the question now. At Dodger Stadium, in the past, I may have arrived slightly drunk.
Did you have one of those funny brownies?
No. Funny brownies won't make you act belligerent. This is all alcohol.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, brownies would have made me pretty invisible, I think, for the most part. But no, the alcohol made me brave and loud and brash. And I actually got a card from one of the ushers saying, like, kind of like it had this. It was like a card basically that had a message saying, "Knock it off, or we're gonna kick you out." Yeah.
Fat, drunk, stupid is no way through life, son.
It's very true.
Yeah, they have something very similar here at White Sox games in Chicago. They have on the back of every seat they have a text thing that you could send a text, tell them who, like, what seat the person is that's causing a problem, and they'll do the same thing. So it's like you don't even have to confront anybody. It's all just like online.
In section 4.
That's pretty advanced, man. In Mexico, that would actually help a lot because I've been to games in Mexico where it's just horrific. But
is it really that bad? I constantly hear pundits say how that's one of the virtues of the Mexican League is the fact that it's a family-friendly environment.
in some places, but I've been to
I think it
several
depends
places.
on where you sit.
There's always a drunk. I mean, it's you can get a bad place. You can get to a bad place where there's some drunk people around you.
Because when you go to the Azteca, it's general admission, right? So it's like you just get in and find a seat.
There's always that one guy. When in Azteca, and there's a whole row of Pumas fans behind me just going crazy with beer and getting and yelling and all kinds of obscenities. In El Volcan, there was just one single guy who was yelling all kinds of crazy stuff. He was drunk probably as well. I mean, I enjoyed the game either way.
See, so once again, just proves the old adage that Pumas they represent the league much better than Monterrey does when given the opportunity.
But the thing. And that chant is appropriate because I don't think you're going to hear that passion, and especially like a passion that's shown in Argentina, where it's like it's scary to go to a Boca River game in the United States. That would never happen. That text to rat on a dude that's yelling would never happen would never fly in Argentina. It's just like
I mean, I don't even think it would fly in Mexico actually.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't even fly for a Mexican friend.
You know what would
in the
happen,
States.
Dan? What would happen, Dan, if in Mexico, if like they did that at the, like, si mande auxilio a este número, the message would be no mames, like, you're done. There ain't nothing gonna. You might as well just sit it out because no one's coming to help.
They'll be laughing at you.
Would you say, by and large, the people that aren't participating are probably a little more like not as thin-skinned, where they're not going to find a lot of that stuff offensive? They just consider it part of the experience, and just if they're not approving of it, they're going to just ignore it, basically. Because
when
I just remember
soccer games or at baseball games, it's a little different. Like sometimes you're like, I've been with one of my friends who's just been really drunk, and he's just been like yelling like shit at like one of the players, like just trying to antagonize them. And there's some, like, there'll be like a 8-year-old kid who's just like going to his baseball game, and he's like, you could tell he's like having a hard time with all of the yelling and stuff like that. So I think for some of those people, yeah, it's really hard. But I think most of the people are kind of used to it. They know that's part of it. And and at soccer games, like MLS games, it's different. There's the supporter sections. There's like very specific areas, and then there's the rest of the stadium, right? So I think that the supporter sections that would be doing stuff like shouting puto or trying to antagonize any other players or trying to get out to them, I think they're mostly separated. But in sections where like shout puto, like that's not okay with everyone else, and they're going to give that person a hard time, or like at least where I sit.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Man, I just had it on the tip of my tongue, and I have. Well, oh.
I
that's
was
what I
going to
should've
say,
done.
John, to add
Yeah.
on to that. It is for some people it really is not. It's too much for them, the experience, where that kind of passion shown in the stands. I went to a friendly, an America Chivas friendly at the LA Coliseum. Now that always tends to bring in
A more raucous crowd.
yeah. I think that's fair.
Well,
That's a nice way to put it.
Now let me ask you this: Is it more raucous wearing raucous wearing the stripes? You can be honest.
Wait, what was the question?
You're neutral. Who are the more raucous of the group? The ones wearing.
The Chivas fans actually threw shit at me, so I'm gonna say the
Like
Chivas.
literal human feces.
No, not feces, but so what? One of
that is how I would expect an America fan to behave, but not a
I'm actually
Chivas fan.
I'm trying to remember now. I'm trying to remember. Actually, no, I got that one wrong. They were America fans that were throwing stuff at us actually, because one of the guys that we were with was a Chivas fan. The rest of us were neutrals. We were just kind of going for just to watch the game, and we
ruined it for everybody. He ruined your experience because they were throwing stuff at him. And
yeah,
you guys
as we were walking through the
damage.
aisles, yeah, there was just this sweet-looking middle-aged lady, who just like saw us walking through, and she just turned toward us and just yelled "Fuera! Fuera!" And then immediately just kind of got everybody's heads to turn in our directions, and then immediately the entire section started pelting us, and we literally had to run away. And it was a crazy experience. There was M80s being lit up in the middle of the aisles, like on the stairs, on the steps. It was skyrocket bottle rockets.
Were there any human sacrifices?
No, nothing like that.
I think you just want to say a bunch of pendejadas.
Yeah, it was great. I personally had a great time. I thought it was a great time. But some of my friends that went there turned them off completely, and actually turned them into MLS fans.
Did they clutch their pearls? Did they clutch their pearls at the game? Was that what the whole time? Were they just like?
Well, I'm speaking of a couple, so it was more the wife who found all of it a little too much.
This would never happen at an LA Galaxy game.
They are LA Galaxy fans. They are.
It was funny because there was a movie. I think it was I can't remember what movie it was, but Paul Rudd went with some dude to an LA Galaxy, and he was supporting it. It's just. I know that they're not like that at all, but that guy has forever painted.
I believe it's "I Love You, Man."
Is that what it is?
I think it's "I Love You, Man."
Yeah.
Where he's trying to find a friend, a buddy to hang out with, a best man, and he goes out with that gym guy who takes him to a Galaxy game.
I need to get some clips of that. So every time we talk Giovanni, play some of those clips. I think that would be excellent. Now, one thing we haven't talked about, and I think that Albert has given us some information, so we'll.
We got it.
Thanks.
Also, John, I'm actually, before, I think we've all forgotten, the first caller had a second question. Do you guys remember what that was?
I think it was a question about Olympic 2. He had 3 questions. Yeah, so he's like, I have a couple of questions. He just went down this list of 13 questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is now we have to actually have a pen and paper so we can write this stuff down. So, but I believe the question. We have a caller. We have another caller.
First off.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, call please. Go, caller.
Hello.
Yes, caller. You are on the air.
Yes, we do.
You are on the air.
Oh, okay, great. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Sergio.
Sergio, how are you?
Sergio.
Sergio from Big Soccer, Search 30.
No, is it Sergio or Sergio? What do you prefer?
I'm sorry?
Is it Sergio or Sergio? What do you prefer?
Either or. Either or, it doesn't really matter.
This is one of my very good friends. He actually went to my wedding.
Went to your wedding?
Yeah, I did. I went to Danny's wedding a couple years ago.
And the wedding party?
sat me next to a NAD fan, I think it was.
He wanted to
Or
start a
was
fight.
it a Salvadorian fan?
It's actually no. It's actually the same.
And
Dan,
same-
did you
the
do
same
your
people I
duty?
was talking
Did you
about
do your
right now.
duty and hook up your friend at your wedding with the desperate and the horny? Did you do your duty, Dan?
I'm not gonna lie. We kind of lumped them in with like a. No, I'm kidding. I think I lumped them with my friends. So there you go.
Yeah,
Like, you know.
but the table was great. Like the table that I was with were everybody was cool. Even the Nat fans. So I guess they're not all bad.
Yeah,
Sergio, what can we do for you, sir? Thank you for calling, by the way. I really appreciate the call.
Yeah. Oh, no problem. You know, I just wanted to chime in about you guys were talking about stadium atmosphere and how things are. And I remember back in 2010, I went to a Toluca game. It was Toluca versus Cruz Azul, and you know, like the atmosphere was fun and it was cool, and nobody was being really crazy. It wasn't until it was halftime, and I was sitting on the by where the goals are at, or one of the goals, and it was the tunnel where the players go in and out of. So it's halftime, and the refs and
Sergio,
players
can I ask you a question?
to the tunnel, and
Can I ask you a question real quick,
a
Sergio?
bunch of kids just ran to the fence, and where all the players are going to be, and they were just like giving them all sorts of crap. And these were like, I don't know, 10-year-old kids maybe, and they were yelling stuff that I was like, man, I'm pretty vulgar, but these kids were pretty freaking vulgar.
You're saying that the New Yorkers would have blushed what the kids were saying.
Pretty much. I mean, they even caught me off guard. But other than that, I mean, like, you kind of get that in all sporting events, you know. People just kind of being a little crazy or using, I don't know, crude language. You kind of
No. Did Cruz Azul win the game? Did Cruz Azul win the game?
No, it was a tie. It was 0-0. So it was actually not too bad of a game for being a 0-0 game, but nobody won. There was no goal scored.
Now,
Yeah.
Sergio, we were just about to talk about it. Chiquis has a special report for us. We've been very curious to know what's been going on with the Chivas with Chivas TV, and Chiquis has prepared a special report for us to talk about how they're actually trying to provide this information. And I saw a tweet that came in earlier, kind of cracked me up, saying, you know, so I'm starting to think that this online thing is actually becoming more and more of reality. It might happen more and more. But Chiquis, please, what were you going to fill in?
Well, some news came out today and sort of got me like wanting to investigate a little bit more. But apparently they changed their terms of service, and whoever reads that, I don't know. Whenever you see that, you just hit agree and then go on.
I read it every time.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't. But go ahead.
Read that, but apparently they changed it, and it might be common language because I think someone else posted that they've seen it in other agreements. But they said that the verbiage was that you can't, the consumer can't complain to, I forget the organization that they have in Mexico, Procura or something like that. That
the Better Business Bureau of Mexico.
Yeah, the Better Business Bureau of Mexico. So everyone was going all crazy on that. But I looked into the statement, the complaint that they have logged at their website and everything, and it mentions that a certain company is hosting them. So Chivas is actually using this company from the Netherlands to stream the games, but I think Chivas has to send them the stream, and they just provide like the back end servers and everything. But it's still up to Chivas to provide an app and to provide the front end and all of that. I couldn't find out where those servers are located if they're in, because one of the things on the Mexican website, the Better Business Bureau, said that was, you know, that might be an issue, but you don't know where the server's at. They could be in the States, they could be all over the place, and I think Oscar de la Hoya, his organization, they stream through there. There's some other people that they had on the website that stream through there. So I think it might
I'm
end.
actually working on a webcast this weekend.
Yeah, so
Saying that now in your experience, I mean, in the experience, I mean, it is for what they want to do. Are they do they have to be able to handle the amount of people that would watching their stream, or do you think that they're still just completely either underestimating or unwilling to step up the ability to share games live to potentially millions of people?
in my opinion, I think, and I've never heard of this company, but just looking at its website and looking at, I looked at its website pretty in depth. I think it seems pretty legit, pretty reliable of a company. If they can get their front end and whatever they have to do going well, I think it could be a really good thing. But like I said last time, I don't think it's really on their end. I think it's on the consumer's end in Mexico. They don't have the internet speeds across the board in Mexico to be able to have this going. To get it to work, they're going to have to call up and get a new router and get an increase in speed and a new plan and pay more money per month to have speeds that will be able to support and do that. Like here in the States, the basic plan is pretty much good enough for one or a group of people at home.
Beto, do you think though it's reasonable that they should have they should already kind of know that you're going to need it? I mean, I'm not a techie guy at all, but I kind of know that I need good speed in order to stream. You don't think this should be common knowledge already in Mexico?
Well, not only that, but should also be common knowledge, at least by the people that are trying to present a product this way. That maybe they should have done their homework a little to see that their market is.
I also would hope that hopefully Chivas TV would be saying like to have you should have a minimum internet speed in order to to get the optimal experience.
Yeah, I think they should have.
You know what this reminds me of? Have you guys ever listened to the radio and they say, "Hey, this is FM 14." They tell you all the frequencies are on, and they go, and then we're on HD2, blah 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 blah. Who the hell has HD2?
I don't even know what that is.
Exactly. That's why I see Chivas TV. Why are you making it so hard for your fans to watch a game? I mean, and not only are they making it hard, but they're making them pay for it.
It's sort of like
for their entire life it was freely available.
Well, I think it's clear they're banking on the ones that can afford it and the hell with the ones that can't.
And maybe they'd calculated
But
that.
I understand that. But my point is that their target audience, well, not their target audience, but their biggest audience. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, I think
they couldn't have struck in the deal with like ESPN or Fox or Sky or any of those. I don't know. It just seems like they could.
Well, I mean that's the thing. I mean, I mean I understand the gamble, and for the first few weeks, I don't think the gamble has been worth it. And now, I mean, if it ends up being a total failure, then they're going to go back to TV, and TV's going to go, remember that $100 offer you? Now it's $50. Take it or leave it. It's a very, very risky move, and I just don't think that they fully understood the implications of what they're doing, at least initially, and it's something that may cost them in the long run. And I just have a feeling that they're going to be back on TV. I don't be this season, but it'll definitely be next. They will be back on TV, at least in Mexico.
I think it could fail, and that'll happen. If not, I think it could succeed. But another thing I just thought of is how many people in Mexico have actual smartphones that can watch video on phones like that. Because the real fanatic.
Well, I know that the percentage of the population that has internet is very high. It's in the 60 to 70% range, which is pretty impressive. But like you said, Chiquis, how many of those people have have the speed capabilities to be able to watch the game in a reasonable manner?
They're relying on the popularity of smartphones, the popularity of social. It's because it's blowing up. It's blowing up in the States, and it's blowing up or it has been in the States, and it's blowing up in Mexico like crazy. Even like the cartels have been known to look at social media and stuff like that. We hear articles about that. So Chivas is relying. I think that's what they're looking at most. Is this is huge. The internet is huge. Social media is huge. Smartphones, tablets.
We want to be first.
Yep.
I mean, I understand that. It just, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I said it's. I think that it could eventually, head that way. But I mean, understand that. Chivas is, they're not just any team. I mean, and then that's. I think that's the problem. I'm not an issue I have it, but I think that's, it's like the good thing and the bad thing about the argument is that they say, well, we can have, X hundred thousands and maybe a million, but if they're not prepared to handle that, and if the country isn't prepared to deliver that, then it's not. It doesn't seem like it's maybe it'll happen in 2 or 3 years. Who knows? If they stick it out that long, or they stick it out that long, what do we always talk about with Tom
Well,
is that
I think if there's a demand for it, though, John, just like anything, if there's a demand for it, then I think you're gonna see the improvement in the infrastructure itself to just be able to provide higher speeds. I think it'll happen just because people want it.
But people do people want it though? I mean, I know that we don't have Joel and.
I do think so. I think people want Netflix. I think people want all that stuff, and you need good speeds to do that. I mean, I'm just guessing here.
But
I know they want that. I'm saying, do they really? I mean, do they want Chivas that much that they want to pay the Netflix fee for it every month?
Okay, that's a separate question.
And people in Mexico.
Well, but that's what they're asking. That is what Chivas is asking. Do you guys want to pay?
Well, maybe the cost for this service, because there's a cost for this service to stream through this company. Maybe that's so cost efficient and so cheap that they're forced to choose that. Maybe they're. I mean, I don't know how the OmniLife business is going and stuff, but maybe that's their only choice. Maybe they're like going downhill or something. But the guy is like, man, I'm a cheapskate. I'm gonna do this. I'm not even gonna deal with no TV deal because that costs too much. And I don't know what TV deals cost or anything, but. That's just an idea.
Well, Sergio, do you have anything else to add before we let you go?
No, that's it. That's it. Nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, we appreciate you calling. Thank you very much, as always.
Now, John, I do want to say that
yes.
I'm also personal friends with Sanchito too. I just didn't want to divulge his real name since he didn't. But yeah, he's also my buddy here in San Diego.
Okay. Well, so it's
I don't want to make it seem like I was
California invasion on the phone
and only embracing Surge. So I guess I'm just trying to make sure nobody gets butt hurt here. I have equal love for everyone.
No. So you're hedging your bets. I understand. Now we did hear back from Tomas, and his other question was, I asked about the Olympics and what your expectations are. And is there a real significance of what happens as far as the main selección is concerned? I think that the significance should be somewhat, I guess, trepidatious. I mean, we thought that, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but when Mexico won the gold medal in 2012, I mean, my expectations were beyond insane at that point. I mean, I thought that they were well on their way to, having one of their best, if not their best performance ever at a World Cup in 2012. So, is it a good indicator? I don't know if we'll know one way or the other until we see how these guys do. You can't the win in 2012 because or maybe you could judge it. No, it's not a good indicator at all. Who knows? Other countries have won the Olympics and haven't really done much on the world stage. And Iraq won a bronze medal in 2004. So.
Would you say that?
I guess it really is more.
Would you say it's fair though, to say that the tournament itself is increased in its importance recently, semi-recently? Because I mean, it seems like certain countries, like Argentina, take it seriously. Brazil is desperate for it. I think it means a lot more now. Would you guys say that's fair?
Only because Argentina saw that Mexico won it last time, so they're going to be like, who are these Mexicans to be able to come and do this? And So they're going to be like, oh man, we gotta humiliate them. We gotta put them back in their place. Oh, but some other things. Well, yeah, that's my take on that.
Wow. Harsh words from Hayes County.
I don't think it's a big deal. Like I'm not even that too excited. Even knowing Mexico's going there, maybe it's because of their team, and I'm not thinking they're going to do real well. But I mean, I'm not too concerned over this tournament, or maybe I'm bummed because of Copa America. I don't know.
The reality for me is for a tournament like this is how is Chucky going to do? Is he going to play well? What about this Lozano kid, or not Lozano, Pizarro? Is he going to? What kind of tournament is he going to have? So to me, I'm looking at it. How are the individual players going to do? Are they going to? I mean, I could be fine with bowing out to Argentina, whatever it is. He's not even making the group stage if a few players, play really well. That being said, if players play really well, then the team's going to do really well. And I think that we have, 2 or 3 players that if they play extremely well, I think that Mexico's going to do great. So, individually, and I go back to the 2012 team. I mean, I thought that Marco Fabian had finally come into his own. I was so excited about Chaton because I mean he's just like the perfect defensive midfielder. I mean, you see a guy like that, it's like, man, he's going to play. He's going to be the next Torrado for 10 years. It's fantastic. For as much as people bitch about Torrado, I mean, those players are hard to come by. They're so important.
Do you think Chucky is?
Obviously Odibe played well. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think Chucky is? Do you think he's already has a new team, and he's gonna get moved after the Olympics, like being speculated, or is he still kind of?
He was interviewed today, I think today, and they asked him, "Will you go to Manchester?" It was a true and false questions that they were given, and then he said, or they asked him, "Are you going to Manchester United?" And he just said, "I don't know. I have no idea."
Because if he's still being shopped around, then obviously this is another way for him to put himself on the shopping window. If he has a big tournament, I think he probably
might be in the works, but I don't think he really knows from that. In other questions, he was sort of being truthful, and some he just straight up lied. I think in one of them, he said he even cried like after there was a lot of people that were crying after the Chile loss and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a pretty. Another thing that I saw from Potro, I think, in a press conference today, was that he said Chicharito never wanted to be part of the process for the Olympics, sort of like an insult or something. And Uribe was with him in the press conference. I don't know what that was all about, but I found that interesting.
I don't see how that's a big deal, though, even if it's true.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like.
Can you blame someone for not wanting to play?
Well, I mean, I think Chicharito had a choice to be part of the Olympic process. I mean, if he was going to play Copa America, I mean, there's no way that Leverkusen was going to, let him play both, and there was no way they were going to let him play one where they weren't obligated. I mean, they have a chance to. I'm not saying they're going to win the Bundesliga, a chance to do pretty well, and they want him around for the preseason. And frankly, I'd much rather have him do that anyway, for his sake, keep him going. So yeah, for both of them, see that that's the PR stuff that I always talk about. Talk to your coach. I know that, but just when it comes to stuff like that, it's like just have a better way to say what you wanted to say. So the way that they shape their message, the FF sometimes isn't the best. It's not their forte. And it was something else that Joel and I talked about also. Now segue nicely into another topic, and that's Juan Carlos Osorio, who now has his lesson. It says, when the game's 3-0, now I know what to do. Thanks. Valuable lesson learned for Juan Carlos Osorio.
Yeah, his stock went down after that interview, man.
I didn't have so much problems with the interview. That obviously that part of it sucked, but other parts of it I think were somewhat encouraging.
Yeah,
that was very disappointing. How about when it's 2-0, you think about doing something, not 3-0. How about 2-0?
What do you think he's probably saying? I think that's what I think he's basically saying, that like he's going to try to win up until that point.
But the problem was, like, and we've talked about it here, it wasn't just the one game. Why doesn't he say anything about what was happening in previous games, like the Jamaica or the other games? It was
Well,
something else that he was doing wrong this whole time, and it just came to,
I think in his opinion, those were successful games.
yeah, he needs to be on there. And he's going to have another probably sad instance about to happen in Columbus or whenever. And like I think John said, that he might end up being, or Tuca might end up being in 2017 the new coach.
Yeah, he has the 2 games in September, which are meaningless. It's part of the quadrangular that they're playing right now. To go to El Salvador and play. Now, El Salvador will be a good test.
He maintained, though, John. I mean, that his tactics were. He still feels that they were the correct ones. Where he feels that still with the players that Mexico has, they should be playing, like al tú por tú against Chile. That they have the team to do that.
That's fine. Play al tú por tú all you want, but Chile exposed some major issues that his formation had, and he never made the adjustment, unfortunately, not the entire game. And to me, I mean, if you're going to play a team like Chile, you have to understand that you have to take a more defensive posture with them, because they're not only do they want the ball, but they're dangerous. Mexico isn't as dangerous with the ball as Chile is. But why on earth would you give it to them? Just freely give it to them, and you have to. You have to be able to control what they didn't let them get frustrated, and then you hit them. And I don't understand why they didn't play him like that. I mean, I'm not saying bunker up or anything, although sometimes that's warranted. In this case, just don't be as risky. Don't send 8 guys up the field and only have your 2 centrales back. I mean, that's ridiculous. You can't do that against like Chile, and they showed you why. So, and then I think his tactics were now he does have a molero, and that was another question that Tomas in Chicago has. Mexico's playing for the 4th time in 6 years, New Zealand. And the reason for that, yes, is a fecha FIFA, but the reason is that they could only get New Zealand is because every other continent in the middle of their World Cup qualifying, so no other country except for Oceania, so no other country was available for Mexico to play. So that's why they're playing New Zealand. And there you have it. Is this
a sum requirement?
They get it. If I were Chicharito, I would go no. Pardon me? Yeah, you're exactly. It is the contractual obligation game. You are exactly correct. This is like Monty Python's contractual obligation album. If anybody ever listened to that when they were younger.
He's going to be at all-time high with Osorio on this game then. You better have him playing well.
Well, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea just to say, like, if they could arrange it to just have all the Euro guys stay there and just make it a LigaMX based call.
Exactly. There's 0, but they won't be able to because they say, hey man, we need to sell tickets. And I mean, for them to fly over for that, I think would be.
Well, did I mishear? I heard that wasn't one of the games like sold a bunch of tickets even before they announced the opponent. So I mean,
yeah, they've never been to Nashville, so they've already sold 20,000.
So there you go. So I mean, it doesn't even matter to some degree who even shows up. I mean, as long as they're wearing the green jersey, they're going to show up.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like another
right. So
another question.
So you said send Juliet Peña up, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's another.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. But
I
think it's a question that Thomas had that about these moleros. That even though there's tons of moleros that are happening, Mexicans are going to go and pay tons of money to go and watch them. And I wish that wouldn't be the case. Like, if they want to end this sum deal and all that stuff, the only way it's going to end is if they stop going to the game, stop buying the expensive tickets to see New Zealand or Senegal or whoever.
Well, just to play devil's advocate, I'm not one of those people who think these moleros are all bad. I'd like to. I mean, some of that money does trickle down to the national team, the youth teams. So I mean, some of that I think is responsible on some level for the success that some of the youth teams are actually having.
That's why I think that the whole war against some is a stupid war, man. They should just embrace the Molero and just go to every single game and buy. If they start selling season passes, we should start selling them. We should start buying them too.
Release the Kraken!
Fernando, thank you for joining us.
Hey, glad to join
I
you
didn't
guys.
realize that you would come on. Otherwise, I would have introduced you. Fernando,
No
did you
worries.
just join right now because you were watching your Rayados play that real tough game they had down in Haiti?
Fortunately, no.
That
Right
why
now,
you're just tuning in? Because I'm not gonna lie, the incidence of the timing is a little suspect.
no.
It's a little suspect.
I actually have
Come on, you can
no.
answer the question, Senator. It's all right. If you'd rather spend your time watching your Rayados instead of hanging out with us, well, you could
No,
have done both.
no, absolutely not. That's not something I would do. What happened was that I just recently moved. I don't have internet. I have nothing. My phone's about to die. So, I just,
Oh, so
my
it's
stuff's
a good
still.
thing that you're not, or like there's a fire because your phone's about to die, and I can only stay on for a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Send help.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I'm here. I'm ready to go.
But still, I just find it very suspect that you called immediately, like literally the first commercial after the Monterrey game was over. So you're saying that is just a gigantic coincidence.
Absolutely, coincidence happen in real life.
I'm gonna have to call. Oh, I wish my bad cop could spot the lies, but I don't have a bad cop. Actually, I do have the bad cop saying that. So we have a.
No estén buscando tres patas al pinche gato que no tiene.
So yeah.
It's good stuff.
So you're saying, Fernando, that the Molero, no, and I understand what you guys are saying. It's a good way. Now, we'll say this: the Molero, the quantity of Molero games has gone way down. 10 years ago, when Mexico only had Rafa Marquez playing in Europe, they would play the 4 or 5 games outside of Fecha FIFA because they could, and that's how they would do their contractual obligation. But now, as far as Molero, there's only like 1 or 2 a year. This one is, why? Yeah, it's. I guess you could look at it as it'll help them get ready for CONCACAF because New Zealand is going to be a very, very physical defensive team. That's.
If I were a betting man,
that is as positive a spin as I could put on that game.
No, you know what? Like some is they know how to how do you say plan things ahead. They knew that this summer Copa America was gonna. The expectation was so high that they didn't plan too many games after the tournament, and it obviously paid off. Just imagine if they would have had a partido molero after the 7-0. Damn, I think they needed that. That was a great calculation by some organization to not have more
you
molero.
as a human being and a fan and a at the time a reporter were at the 7-0 game. You got to witness the whole thing live and in living color.
Yeah, I know.
Carne y hueso. So my question to you is: Are you as quemado as the players? Do you think? Did you walk out of that stadium feeling like you'd been branded? Branded with a big L for loser.
I'll tell you what. We had that. I don't know if I shared with you guys. One of the reporters or journalists that were there in the
Fernando's confession.
No, he was complaining about the puto chant. Like how it was so bad and.
Whatever. Oh, you told us that.
Did I tell you guys about how he says,
yeah.
At least we're not gonna hear the puto chant anymore, and that turned out to be completely untrue. So.
Right, because the Mexico fans started saying the puto chant to their own team.
No, they started saying it in other games. Even at the last USA match versus Colombia, the puto chant.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's something I would be proud of. Oh, you mean the USA?
Yeah.
Yes, you did tell us all about that, Fernando.
You recorded
Fernando, what is going on with Monterrey, Fernando? They don't look good. It's probably the worst Monterrey team I've seen in like 30 years.
It's the same team as last year,
Should
but you know
should
what?
should they go ahead and just fire the coach, start all over again?
No, they shouldn't. But it's that cancer Carlos Sanchez, man. He ruined the chemistry of the team, and now they're sucking. They need to get rid of him, honestly. But
So
other
he
than
needs to
that,
go.
yeah, he Carlos Sanchez needs to, be
So you're
sold
saying
for
that
$40.
his decision has ruined every and all kind of chemistry that Monterrey has, and now he is a pox in the locker room. He must be removed.
I think it will be beneficial. I think we will see change in the field.
Well,
Just think,
isn't Aldo
And
Dinengo?
he missed the penalty. He missed 2 penalties, or was it 3? Fernando, how many penalties has Monterrey missed
He missed
in the
2.
past 2 weeks? It's like 4 or 5, right?
what?
I hear it could be as high as a half dozen. That's what people say. People are saying it could be as high as a half dozen.
No, well, he's definitely a cancer, so like he needs to go. And I hope that they do sell him sometime soon. I think the market is still open until August 31st, right?
Where do you think he should go? Do you think he should go to? Where do you think he should go? Should he go to like an America?
Send them back to Uruguay, man.
So you don't
Deportado.
even want him in the country anymore. You don't even want him. So you think he's maybe they should like send him to El Salvador
That would be good.
or Honduras.
That would be good, but yeah,
Play in
ship him
that
out.
stadium in Trinidad,
Yo,
or
play
worse
here.
yet for you, like MLS.
Oh, actually, that would be awesome. He can go ruin that league. So yeah, it's a bad start, but the good thing about the Mexican league is it's still early on.
Fernando, I think you're being a little deceptive again. Please tell us how you really feel about Carlos Sanchez.
I think I already said enough. He needs to go. He needs to get out.
And you say this is all because during the second leg of the final said, no, I've got to go to Uruguay because they need me.
You know what?
When the very same like not 3 days later there were like 5 Uruguayans playing in the Champions League final.
Exactly. That's exactly what pissed me off about an interview that El Profe Tavares said.
Minimizaron tus Rayados, Fernando. What happened?
Exactly. And
Mexican league as well.
man, he he was blaming the league. Oh, how could you play a league that the Copa America was about to start at this time? Why would you make the league this calendar like this? And I'm like, wow, your Godin was in the Champions League. What's wrong with you? And you let him.
Not only that, but Copa America's calendar came out way after Mexico's league was announced. So
yeah, it was announced a year before.
So you are just that's it. You're done. You're done. You're done with Monterrey because you won't watch them until they get rid of Carlos. Are you boycotting the Rayados until
No,
Carlos Sanchez is removed?
I know that.
Or will you watch them in protest?
I think he was secretly hoping they would lose that final against Pachuca.
I think so. You have somebody to blame. You're right. You're absolutely right. So that he could start his campaign of his smear campaign against Carlos Sanchez. It only helped rile the masses.
No, it's just that no, I wanted Rayados to win, and seeing him how he ran away from us, like every single time we ask him, he'd just be running away. Especially if he saw some Mexican trying to ask him a question at the mix zone. He's a coward, man. He needs to go.
He's Uruguayan, man. He's just like I was talking about Argentina, looking at Mexico down, looking down to Mexico, and Uruguay's the same way. He is the same way.
Don't you understand? I am Uruguayan, and I'm. It should be a privilege for you to watch me play.
When you say that, I'm picturing that one blonde dude. What's his name? He doesn't play with anymore, but he was like the cockiest, arrogant.
Who, Enzo Francescoli?
No, he just stopped playing recently. I forget his name. The blonde.
Alvaro Recoba.
Oh, Diego Forlan.
Forlan, yeah, Forlan. That dude was like, I hated that guy, man. He's like the arrogant. Him and Torrada were going at it one time. I forget. He was just like, he was, just the cockiest, smug type of player I've ever seen.
It was they are definitely another team that is, as we talked about earlier, well versed in the dark arts. There's no question of that.
Son, ¿cómo se les dice a esos? Se les dicen que son mamelucos. I don't think that's the right word.
That's like bib or something, isn't it?
Yeah, son mamones.
So we should probably wrap it up here with one last time. By the way, thank you to all our callers that have called in tonight. It's made the show very entertaining and very informative. It's been
Wait, I missed the callers already?
we had like a litany of calls. We had like one caller after another for like 2 minutes and 45 seconds. It was impressive.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, we and then we had a guy who called and apparently he can give us the sizzle. I believe is what he's claiming, that he can, kind of make us pop a little bit more, which is interesting. So looking forward to seeing the Sanchito bounce. Let's hope that it happens. So thank you, Sanchito. Of course, we had a call from Tomas, a call from Sturge, and who else do we have a call from?
I think a couple other guys that were unidentified. Chicago.
Yeah, we had two guys from Chicago, Sergio and Sanchito, and that might be it. And I think
Two guys from Chicago. Yeah.
one guy from Vegas. Wait, or was that the guy from Chicago?
So
that was the guy from Chicago.
Yeah, no, Tomas was from Chicago. He actually asked and then followed up with a question on the chat page. But one last topic for y'all, something that I don't know if I had a chance to read the little chat that Joel and I had, and today we were talking about how to improve. What can Mexico do to improve its or to find its heart in the soccer culture? How can they what can they add to it? And he seems to think, and it's too bad that Joel isn't here to elaborate on this a little more than he already did, because I think that what he said was very interesting, as far as Mexico just right now at this moment just doesn't seem like, with the population that it has, is just not fully taking advantage of really making the sport become a more entrenched part of the fabric of a culture and a country. And one of the things we talked about a couple of things. One of them he said it was something that Ronnie had actually brought up, and he was in an agreement to, and I am as well, is it would be great to see Mexico have like an FA style cup in the country where the amateur teams, third division, second division, first division, all play. And that would certainly spread the sport more so, and another thing that what it would do is also obviously help them find more talent that probably otherwise wouldn't get a chance to be seen. And then the other idea that I had that looks like it's actually starting to happen, and I wish we could have somebody that could give us more information, is I've always thought it was one of the things that I've always admired about the U.S. is how they have high school sports is so well, what's the word I'm looking for? It's something that a lot of resources are dedicated to. Let's just in every sport, not just some of the bigger ones. And I always thought, can't Mexico do that for soccer at the high school level, with the public schools, and just arrange, some form of interscholastic league, and then do it, state by state, like they do in the States. And it seems like they're actually starting to do that with they're having like high school tournaments with at least with the public schools for both boys and girls. So that is definitely a step in the right direction. That they're doing that. Is that do y'all see it that way, or Dan? How do you feel about that?
I'm sorry, dude. I missed the question.
I think it's. I don't know.
Go ahead.
The question, I guess, is the high school, like having high school soccer, high school sports in Mexico. would that be beneficial? I've never thought about that, but
I think it would be beneficial, obviously, because it'll I think give the opportunity for some that may not have the opportunity to play elsewhere.
so you mean lesser talent might be able to increase their skills in high school, where in other places may not have an opportunity. Sort of like
No, I'm just saying, like, I mean, obviously, I know most
No,
places.
talent can actually be seen and have a chance to show what they can do.
Yeah, I think that, like, just increasing the amount of play that they get to do. You know, they just playing more. And yeah, just having different set of eyes, being able to see them. But I think literally for some, maybe club football isn't available to them for whatever the reason, or at least a decent club football. So maybe it might be an improved, and it just improved situation for them to be able to just to be able to play. I'm not sure though. I obviously don't live in Mexico, so I wouldn't be able to comment on whether or not everybody has the ability to join a club.
I might next time I go down, I might have to ask some questions about that.
Yeah, I don't think that many. Yeah, it's not very prevalent to be able to do in Mexico, and that's something that Joel brought up. He said that a lot of the players now are going through, and and maybe something that Juan could talk to us about a little bit as well. Like they're going through, there's academies that are then shopping players to the clubs in Mexico. And what he's afraid of is he's afraid to become more of a pay to play, where only a certain group of players, go through this, and then they get passed through. I'm not so sure that would be a pay to play because I mean, like we talked about it, there's socioeconomically it's not necessarily as viable as it is in this country, but I can see where at more at a higher level where certain clubs are only going to deal with certain academies, etc. I mean, I can certainly see that and how other ones might get.
And one other
maybe
thing though, John, that I think should be looked upon as a positive, that if it was incorporated into in Mexico, is that I think overall you're going to get better coaches than you would here in the States. I would have to think that there's got to be better coaches over there. Just that if we're comparing apples to apples, like high school coaches, because I'm pretty sure a lot of the high school coaches that you would see at your garden variety high school probably isn't that good. Probably aren't that good.
My coach in high school was a football coach. He knew nothing about soccer, but this was like in a small town in Florida, so bigger towns in Florida had, of course, more experienced guys, but yeah, I agree with that for sure. It's a bigger sport.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly something to think about. Honestly, the fact that they have it for both men and women, I think is, or for boys and girls rather, I think is definitely a step in the right direction. I don't know if every state does it. Just in my cursory Google search this morning, I saw that Puebla had a league, Interprepas is what they call it. I saw in Baja California Norte had one, and then there was it was one of one of the western interior. I can't remember. It was like I think it may have been Sinaloa actually that had it too. So I'm sure that there are others that have it. So yeah, I mean I think it would be anything to give a kid exposure that otherwise might not get it, and then he can start being developed a certain way. I think that would be terrific. So I think that there's no reason why this could be such a bad thing, but I do think that it's something that needs to become more ingrained because I do think that especially with how they have the main league is set up, that there's going to be less players coming through because they're just not going to need them as much, so they're not going to invest the money as much, which is fortunate because it is an importers league, not an exporters league. So there's definitely some the future is very hazy right now, at least for Mexico, at least on the national team level. So hopefully they'll do something to figure that out. Which we'll see what happens. Well, I think that's a good spot for us to wrap this up. So
We do thank everyone that has joined us tonight, whether it's for the calls or on the chat on the YouTube. Of course, you can listen to this podcast and all of our previous editions on iTunes, is where you can download them. So for you new listeners that want to hear some of our previous shows, we certainly recommend that you listen to some of the other shows we've done over the. I guess we're going on about a year doing this, so this has been a lot of fun. Dan, thank you for joining us.
When's our birthday, man?
Thanks for having me, guys. It was fun.
Thank you, Dan. And I didn't get to ask you, Dan. I'll ask you real quick before we wrap it up. Now, do you think that skinny jeans his jeans are so skinny that it's cut off the oxygen to his upper body, where he's starting to make some kind of iffy decisions with Santos?
It may be contributing to some of the bad play, but ultimately, I think the team isn't as bad as it looks right now. It could be a thing of, you mentioned it earlier, that it's going to take some teams to sort out their preseason, I guess, rust a little bit longer than others, and I think we're definitely suffering from that on some level.
Would you feel better if you saw Santos this weekend? I'm not sure who they're playing, but they come out onto the pitch this weekend, and the coach is not wearing the skinny jeans. He's wearing like a pair of proper chinos. Would that make you feel a little better?
Yes, it would. I would love to see him in a pair of some nice slim fit.
You know what was very
uber duper skinny.
He's
very
cutting off that
discouraging.
testosterone, man.
It's cutting off a lot of things. You know what was very disturbing that I saw this weekend, and it's I was trying to avoid it, but of course I did bring it up. Was Paco Palencias with Pumas? He doesn't have the black fingernail polish anymore, which it's a sign of maturity. He's a coach now. He can't have that. He's wearing the coat and tie, with the black coat, and he looks like he should be a bodyguard on Robert Rodriguez movie. He's got the very, very clean cut look. But the dude is wearing the skinny slacks. They look like jeggings. I mean, it's like he's wearing yoga pants.
Well, is the coat nice and snug also?
Oh,
the jacket
yeah. I mean,
snug?
Put it this way: if I put that jacket on, I probably wouldn't be able to get it around the outside of my belly.
You're not gonna get to see the young kids. You're not gonna see them wearing double-breasted suits anymore, John. The kids us kids, I'm gonna include myself. We like our slim fit.
They'll be back.
At some point, yeah, you're probably right.
They'll be back. They're always coming back. Yeah. So now it's my guy Palencia that has. So now I have to deal with the skinny pants on my sideline, which is
maybe it's just they're trying to emulate the Argentinian way. It's obviously been successful. You see even the chubby Argentinian guys pull it off. So it's like, hey man, if Turco can pull off those tight jeans, I need to start rocking them too.
Mexico style.
Yeah. I guess this is a generational thing, but well, Dan, you're not you're in your 30s, right? I mean, you're not that much younger than me.
No, not that much younger. I'm 37.
Yeah, all right. So, okay. I don't know. So.
You can tell the styles that are going on though from social media, and it's just something that's spread down to Mexico.
I will say one style that I can't wrap my head around is, who thinks dudes look good with thick beards?
I cannot make an opinion on that.
Fernando, go caller. What you got?
Call who?
No, I'm saying give us your opinion. What is your opinion, Fernando?
Opinion on what? On beards?
On the beards. I thought you said you had an opinion. You said I have an opinion on that.
No, I said that I don't think us men should have an opinion on that.
Oh, you're saying that I shouldn't even bring it up?
It's not a good idea. No, it's not good territory to travel.
Beards. Okay.
He's scared of offending our beard-loving audience.
Is it like saying? Is it like we can't say another man is handsome? Is that something?
Don't mention the beard. Okay, so we understand that from this point forward, that any beard conversation is
Officially and henceforth verboten.
Off limits.
Okay.
It's a hipster.
Indeed.
We got hipster
Well,
audience.
as
I
I
was
was
reading
saying.
on Big Soccer right now.
Well, Fernando, thank you for. I know you joined us late, and you missed us last week. It was good to have you back. Although I have
Thank
to
you,
admit,
sir.
I'm still
Yes.
questioning your timing. It was a little too suspicious. I know you can watch. I'm sure you still have service on your phone, and I'm sure that you still watch the game, and that's okay.
I'm waiting for
That's okay.
Monterrey to release Monterrey TV, man. Oh my God, I would get a
They
subscription so
they were
fast.
on the internet. They went through the same thing with Chivas, and then they
Oh,
partnered
really?
with Medio Tiempo. This was like 4 or 5 years ago,
No
and
way.
yeah, but you know what? It was free. Number one, they would have like 90,000 or so viewers, or something like that. But they were back on TV, and I don't.
I
Now,
remember that. You're right. That's when they were having a dispute with the television company, right?
yeah, as
If I
is
remember
usually the
correctly.
case, because they
Yeah.
thought that they were winning, so that they should be give a national team, not like a national team, but like a team that is well received nationally instead of regionally. So it didn't work out for them, as we all know.
Hey, it's okay, man. That they were the ones laying the groundwork for this successful
Yeah.
Chivas endeavor.
All right, one last question before we wrap it up here. One last question. I'll throw it to all of y'all. Do you think Vergara has the mental, not the, I guess the intestinal fortitude, the patience to run this Chivas TV thing all the way through, or do you think you think that the hemorrhaging is going to be too much, and they're going to
I
stop it?
think no. Well, he's been successful so far. What? What the hell was that?
It's Chivas TV. That's how you're logging on to Chivas TV. Go ahead.
That's good stuff.
As you were saying.
Yeah, I think
So you're
that
saying he's
Fernando's.
playing the long game? He's playing the long game in this?
Well, he has to. It's not. It's like Netflix. They didn't catch
Well,
on
that's my
right away.
question, Fernando. That's my question. Does he have the patience to play the long game?
I think he will, and I think he understands what it takes. He's got the right people in place. He's got Higuera, who's a revolutionary himself, making the right moves.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at that Chivas
Okay.
TV,
All
man.
right.
That's unprecedented.
Okay.
It's amazing what he's doing,
Albert.
and it takes balls to do what he did.
Albert, do you think it's gonna?
He's sacrificing
All right,
money.
well, Fernando, we get it. We understand. Thank you, Fernando. Albert.
I agree that what Fernando just said, that it could be a huge success, that it's visionary, could be a possibility. But if it's not, and it very well could not be, it could be a huge failure as well.
Well, my question is, does he have the fortitude to see it through? Is he going to pull the plug? Is he going to lose patience, or is he going to is he going to take the whole year to make it to determine it? That's my question to y'all. Not whether so.
I don't know.
Will he have the patience to see it through?
I think he's a. I don't know. That's a good question. I think he's a weakling, so he might not have the patience, but he might not have any other choice. So yeah, I have no idea.
That's why he's got to get in
So you're
place.
saying that he has created his own Mexican standoff, I believe, is how we can surmise what you just said.
Yeah, I mean,
He's damned if he does and damned if.
Yeah, Joel would back it up that he's not a very good manager of things, and this could be another case of that.
Interesting. Dan, do you think that Vergara is going to have the chops to see it through, or is he going to cut and run?
I think you got to see it through.
You do? You think he's going to see it through? So two out of the three think that he's going to see it through. I don't think he's see it through. I think he's going to cut and run. I think it's going to.
Are you gonna make bets on that? And when he's gonna do it?
When do you think? Yeah, when do you think he's gonna pull it?
I think that he could pull it by. So you guys gonna make me put a number on this?
Well, you're the one making these claims,
it,
man. Come on.
Well, okay, let's
Go on
put
a
it
limb.
this way. Let's see if Chivas makes it to the final. Do you think?
That has nothing to do with. Well, I guess in some ways it does. Okay, please continue with your proposal.
No. That was it. Like if Chivas makes it to the final, you think by then he'll cut and run?
Yeah, because a lot of people won't be able to see the final, and they'll be complaining even more because they'll be dialing up and it won't work. but
Well, I
one,
think that he's already said that. I mean, I don't know that he has the ability. I think the Liguilla is a separate, and if it isn't, it should be. It should be a separate deal altogether.
it's a
I mean,
separate.
that should.
It's an extra
It
cost.
should be. I don't know. I don't know if it is or not, but it absolutely should be.
I think it is. Liguilla is a separate cost, or if you get the bigger package, it's part. But it's more expensive for Liguilla.
Oh, so the Liguilla is part. So it's the league doesn't control it. I cannot tell you how ridiculous that is. That LigaMX does not control the rights to its own postseason. That is beyond insane. That they leave that up to the teams.
Well, the teams earned it. Why not?
But it's the postseason, Fernando. That's
Yeah, it's the teams. Like the teams earned it. They with sweat and blood they made it there. So
so.
why
So
why
if you
can't
guys are
they
saying
control?
that if they're having a good season, that he's gonna stay on because because of the Liguilla possibilities, that's gonna determine. What if they have a terrible season?
Well, that's hence the question. What do you think?
So an interesting
You
Fernando.
haven't
So you
answered the
you
question.
think
You know that, right? When he's gonna cut and run?
when he's gonna cut and run? I think that it's gonna probably be by the 12th game.
12th game? Okay. All right.
Yeah, mark it on your
Everybody.
calendar.
Everyone's
Mark it on your calendar.
that's a good point because everyone's been complaining.
Make 'em-
No one's going to subscribe. He's not going to make money. He's going to see it as a lost effort, no return on investment. He's going to bail.
All right. I'm
there
gonna write this down.
the people have spoken. Yeah, write it down. Yeah. It's amazing how you've been able to maintain your battery when it comes to this. Yeah. That's I honestly believe that the loss of money is gonna he's gonna set. And I could be wrong. Maybe he will have the stones to see through. If he does, that good for him. If it ends up working out, I think that's great. If he makes if he makes that kind of risk and sticks with it, I think it's wonderful. Just don't think he's going to stick with it. I think that he's going to ultimately patience, like he does with everything. And that's the other thing is that when has he shown patience with anything?
He has this is the biggest gamble of his whatever business or career, whatever you want to call it. So I think that you cannot really measure it by his past decisions. This is like uncharted territory.
Here's a thought. Even in Mexico, with the well-to-do people that have high-speed internet, when I visited,
Yeah, but they don't care about Chivas.
they even say they do. They even rely and do. I'll watch pirated videos more than like you would ever see here. Now you get it off iTunes or whatever. For movies, there's all kinds of pirated sites that you see that used left and right in Mexico. And the idea of Netflix being able to share accounts, that is used like crazy as well. Part of the Chivas TV deal is that you can only use it on 3 computers, and they have to have the same IP, or have to be in the same network, so in the same home. If you have someone from another city log into your account, one of you is getting booted off. So that that restricts your piracy or your sharing of accounts, and that's not good either. People aren't going to like that.
No. And why is that, Chiquis? Because what have we said about impunity and Mexicans?
Oh yeah.
That they think it's I say that they think it's a basic human right.
It is,
He's
man.
getting away with it.
Software
Why
should be
can't I?
free.
This ain't software. This is
Yeah, this is
movie
premium content.
streaming rights. Yeah. Or do you agree with downloading from Napster?
Doesn't exist anymore. I can't agree with something that doesn't exist.
So you have to understand is that I work for a content provider. So yeah, I mean I understand. I mean there's a serious. I mean it's rough. It's not a good thing. It's something that I used to do quite freely back in the 20. But then after a while you didn't have to because everything was on. There was a spot where you could watch everything.
So are you saying you're getting pissed off that your your personas getting pirated. Like, where's that guy Regulus? He was pissed off that his movie was. I forgot what his name is. He's some sort of TV personality, and he created a movie, and he was pissed off that like his movie was being pirated, and it was a crappy movie.
Yeah, I would be mad too.
Well, it's not that. It's if you can't pirate it, you're not going to buy it.
Exactly. Why am I paying for something that I can get for free?
That's a simplistic way of looking at it.
No, it's not.
That's actually not true, because like I cannot relate to everybody else, but I know some people would like to try the product before buying it. In case of a movie, oh wow, I saw this movie is really cool. I'm gonna go get the DVD. It happens.
Yeah, I don't think
I've done it myself.
That doesn't apply though to the Chivas. We're talking Chivas TV. Like if I want to buy something, I'm gonna be like, okay, I can buy it, but let's group in like 4 of my friends in these different households. We're gonna all buy Chivas TV because we are Chivas fans. It's not gonna work. It's only gonna work at one house.
Well, hold on, wait a minute. We gotta clear something up here. True Chivas fans will pay for the membership. That's out of the question. We're talking about the other people who really don't care too much. Now, like essentially those people, like if they find a product, they probably want to go buy if it's easier to get. Like instead of going to those streaming sites that if you click anything else, you're gonna get a virus or some request to install something that you don't want. And so there's always a risk and cost benefit, and so sometimes some people, they say,
You get viruses when you go to this?
Yeah, if you go like to Roja Directa or something like that, you can get some horrible malware if you click on the wrong place.
Time I went to Roja Directa and they had that splash page. It was like the week of the Super Bowl, and it said, this has been ended by the whatever, what Department of Commerce or whatever it was.
Tell us more about that, John.
They just took over the domain. That's why you go to Roja.
Yeah.
.me. There's a different one that's up. But yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, I gotta do the ME one.
Pern, you're going full Pern mode though. When you get a chance tomorrow, whenever I put it back up, go listen to this show earlier and gave their perspective.
Are you saying I'm gonna get cut off?
No, there's a caller that gave his perspective on your rants and your opinions.
Well, I'm just saying, like, true fans will buy it, and the off fan that doesn't, who is casual or whatever,
But that's just not a realistic way of thinking about it, because I just don't. I mean, again, why would a true fan? I mean, I've had the ability to watch this without having to pay for it my entire life. Why on earth am I going to start paying for it now? If I was very passionate about a team and they did that to me, I would stop being passionate about that team immediately.
Is that all it takes, John? You would stop watching Pumas if they start doing that? Is that all it takes?
It would upset me very much. Yeah, I would boycott them for about like 3 games. No, I have no idea. No, but it would be. It would be upsetting, yes. Besides, Pumas would never do that, so I don't have to worry about it.
Never say never, man. But it can happen, and if Chivas is successful, don't get me wrong, that's gonna be.
See, and this is my question: I just don't see how they're gonna make more money in this venture than they are if they would have just sold their rights. I just don't see that it's going to be worth more than that. I think that the losses in this venture far outweigh the gains.
Well, once you own something, you can find different ways to make money out of it. Right now,
I have no complaints about that, but I just think it was not a good business decision. I don't think we're there yet.
Just think about it, man. If they have a product,
I think about it all the time. I do nothing but think about it. I logged on to Chivas TV today.
Nice. I didn't know you had your subscription. Did El Cho give it to you?
Well, it was I could only get on with my modem, and I watched the game. I think I saw 4 images flicker. There was 4 images for half.
Just think about, man.
And it looked like a mosaic.
Vergara has become a content provider, and that means they can sell ad space. That means they can sell commercials.
Fernando, they can sell ad space on their shirt where it's viewed by 30, 40 million people, or they can not sell ad space, sell the content, and make 10% that.
Hey, it starts. You gotta start somewhere. You before you build the empire, you gotta first lay the first brick.
All right.
One of the
Always the eternal optimist.
on another note, well, a Chivas note, one of the hilarious things that was on the Chivas Cholos game was at the end of the game, or towards the end of the game, they were down 4-0. The cameraman panned to this one dude in a Chivas jersey, and he saw himself on TV, and he's like, "Oh man, these guys are making fun of me," and so he just like raised his hand, he like told them off and stuff. I was just cracking up. I took a video of it and sent it to actually I put it on my Snapchat for Joeli to check out. It's pretty funny. They humiliated that dude, and the 4-0 was all on his face and everything.
That's awesome. Yeah, put a video on it everywhere, man. Share it on Reddit.
Those cameramen are awesome.
They're very talented. They're very talented. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. As always, this has been another excellent edition of the Los Acero podcast. We had callers. It's like the fourth time we tried to say goodbye. We always, let me tell you about this other thing. But anyway, it's
that was my bad.
It's all right. It's all right. It's been things had to be said tonight. We had to clear the air tonight. I'm just kidding. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you guys for joining us as always on the Los Acero Football Podcast, a show that you can listen to live on YouTube every Wednesday night. Usually between 9 and 9:30 p.m. Central Time. And, of course, you can listen to this podcast and all of our previous editions by downloading them on iTunes. Thank you very much for joining us. For Fernando Regino, Daniel Preciado, and Albert Campa, this is John Jagu saying so long.